This next video, we're still talking about how to create a SKU and set up and manage SKUs. We've already gone over the General tab. We've gone over the Grid tab. Now we're going to talk about the UPC tab. So the UPC tab is really used if you're going to enter in manufacturer UPCs. You do not need to go to this tab if you are printing labels, because when you print labels in RICS, we automatically generate that UPC for you. It'll list those UPCs there, but you don't need to create any UPCs. We do it for you. This would be more if you don't want to print labels for this item, you want to use the UPC number that the manufacturer has on that item, then you can come in here and manually put those UPCs in if you want to. So basically you just click on the UPC tab, you go to that field, and you can scan. If you have your scanner attached to this computer, you can actually scan that UPC here in those correct size fields. And once you're done, all you have to do is click on Save UPCs. You can manually type in those UPCs in those fields as well. So if you don't have a scanner, you can type in if it's a 12-digit UPC number. You'll see that identifier type to the top right. The default is always the UPC-A. That's that just normal 12-digit UPC number that's below the barcode. We do have some suppliers that might have the EAN 13 type barcode, you know, where it's 13, or different types of barcodes. But your common ones are going to be the UPC-A and probably the EAN 13. So you got to make sure that that identifier type is correct. If you type in the wrong UPC number for some reason, you go to type it in and go to enter it, you'll notice in peach, this peach color, it'll tell you that it was an invalid UPC. If I type in or scan a correct one, I won't see any colored area around that UPC. That will be valid, and when I go to save it, it will save that UPC. And now you'll see that that UPC number for that size 7B that I entered is down below. This will list all of your UPCs that are in the system, whether they're a manufacturer UPC or whether they are a RICS UPC. Notice at the bottom, if the UPC starts with a 4, that is a RICS UPC where you've printed a label and we've automatically generated that UPC for you. You can have two different UPCs for the same size, meaning you have a manufacturer UPC for the size 7B and you have a RICS UPC for the size 7B. So if you scan the label, it'll bring up the 7B. If you scan the manufacturer barcode, it will bring up the 7B. But if I try to type in this number for something else, it's going to tell me that it's invalid. I tried to type in the same UPC that's coded to a 7B to the 8B, and it tells me invalid and unavailable identifiers have not been saved because I cannot have the same exact UPC for something else. It can only be used to, in this example, identify the 7B. So that's a different example. You cannot have the same exact UPC number pointing to two different things. It can only point to one thing. So just basically make sure that when you type in the UPC that you click on Save UPCs. Whether you type it in or you scan it, always make sure that you click on Save UPCs and it will show up down below. Otherwise, that will not be saved. So you could go through a lot of work, and if you don't click on the Save UPC button, it will not save that UPC. You could also delete any UPCs. So if you find that you want to delete this particular one, you can click on that. It'll check it, and then you can click on Delete Selected Identifiers, and that will delete that particular item that you checked. You'll get the message that says, are you sure you want to delete it? And you'll just click on yes, and that will delete that particular item. And now you don't see it down below. Another note is if you've already saved everything under the General tab and the Grid tab, and when you're on the UPC tab, you've clicked on Save UPCs and saved all of them, you don't have to save down here at the bottom again. because by clicking on Save UPCs, that saved those UPCs. The only thing that you're saving here is if you made a change like on the grid or the general tab and you needed to save it again, then you could. It's certainly not going to hurt anything to save it if you've just entered UPCs, but it's not necessary. And that concludes the video on Manage SKUs for the UPC tab. And just make sure that if you need to watch any of the other videos relating to Manage SKUs that you do so, whether it's on the General tab, the Grid tab, or the Size Availability tab.